Okay, 7:02, we'll start the meeting. First order of business is roll call. It will show Porter,
Michaelonis,
Magus,
Walsh.
Siriano.
Martin, if I have to be on there.
yeah, we'll have John Kay and Gary Martin. John Michaelonis. Roll call. Approval of the minutes of July 1st, 2020. Are there any errors or omissions, corrections you made?
no,
Nope.
Not seeing any.
Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I make
I'll
that
make a-
motion.
second,
One at a time.
I make that motion. Walsh.
Walsh, and seconded by Michaelonis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
aye,
Opposed, abstained? Okay. Public participation, there is none. Chairman's report was talked about last time about the storage trailers on the site down below. 2 of them are leaving shortly. The 2 left is one is inland wetlands, and they're trying to get him to move that. The 4th trailer or box is building inspector. That has to be moved, so I guess I'll talk to Gavalas and see if they can move that out there somewhere. There's got to be a place they can store it. It's not going to be there.
okay.
Correspondence, I have none. New business, clerk and works report, which is in your packet. Is there any questions for Gary?
I might add, just today we went around with Roy Kavanaugh and the police department and a lady from an organization that sells a film that you put on windows that keeps a window from being able to be broken into. I did all the ground floor windows, and I guess they're getting a quote for installing them on every ground floor window so that if somebody tries to break into the building, the glass will not actually shatter and allow them in. It'll hold and they won't be able to get in. So that's something that's above and beyond the project that we're looking at for safety reasons for the building. And then they're also looking to put on one-way viewing film on the windows for first floor offices so people can't see in, as we do have in the tax collector's office and the assessor's office, where you look in, you don't see the people in the building, it just has a reflection on it.
Surprised that wasn't all the specs.
Something else I'd also like to add is I have been, with the couple of rainstorms we had, we did have water infiltration into the building in Parks and Rec and then in Lower C. And I have been doing moisture testing on walls in Parks and Rec and in the social services office. And I am finding a couple areas that seem to spike of moisture in the wall after a rainstorm. So just letting you know that. I've also let the town manager.
Yeah, Gary, in your 7/15/20 report, you notice that the caulking has not been done in the rear of C and B. Has that taken, whose responsibility is that? And has it been done yet?
No. No. That has not been, right, John?
The caulking of the asphalt to the building was something that Daniels Caulking offered to do as an additional measure. It was never part of the scope. It was never part of the requirements. It was just something that they offered to do. They're still honoring that. They just haven't had the availability to come and do it yet. I spoke with him last week, and he said over the next 2 weeks, he'll be able to have somebody come out and do the caulking. But again, that's up and above what we were required to do. It was something they offered to do as an additional measure, per the closeout of the project.
Fortunately, the building does not get the same. does not get the same thing because there's no asphalt there. So, that has a little concern on my part, of the fact that we are getting water permeation. But just sharing that with you, that's all.
Where was that, Gary?
What's that?
Where was that, Gary?
That was in the Parks and Rec office and in the, the front of the building.
Oh, okay, right, yep.
There's no asphalt. And then another item that I've also advised John of is the specified procedure for grass growth on the site, and that it wasn't followed at all. So we've got all those weeds growing in. I mean, they did have somebody come in and mow it down, but I don't know if anybody has looked at it, but there is no grass. I mean, the weeds took over everything and killed everything. So my recommendation will be to do it over again. They were supposed to, by the spec, seed, water, mow 3 times before the town took it over, and none of that happened. Just sharing.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
there is
that's
a
obvious.
period where if you put a mower on any new growth of anything, you'll kill it if you do it too quickly. So,
Yeah, but
you know,
John, but there was no grass growth. It was just, it instantly went to weed. I was there a couple times a week walking by and it instantly went to weeds. So the grass never had a chance to grow. I know because I've installed grasses in lawns.
The specification, Tom had stated that they should do ground turnover, remove all the growth that was in the ground before putting topsoil on, and none of that was done. So obviously, the weeds that were there just sprouted like crazy, and that's what we have. They cut it so you can look at what's left, but there's not much left. It's just the stems of the weeds is what you see.
From you.
I'm not.
Oh.
You guys all set?
Well, if
Okay.
you have any
Thank you. I'll give
questions
you,
for me
okay.
or anything, let me know.
Thank you so
No
much.
problem. Bye, guys. Thank you.
bye.
So I'm hoping that the contractor comes back and actually does it the way he should have done it the first time.
Okay. Gary, talking from personal experience, I know that trying to grow grass in the middle of the summer, because I've done it here, and I had the same problem. It basically just all went to weed. Very little grass came up. And I went through, put grass seed down the whole 9 yards. And it wasn't until the following fall that I was able to establish good grass. And now it's established good. So I don't know if they're going to come back in, let's say, 4 weeks time, mid-August, or going to try do it now, which may be just a waste of effort because of the heat and everything. My experience has been I usually start doing grass on my lawn in mid-August, and then it gets established pretty
Trying
well.
to grow grass right now without an irrigation system is a lost cause. They will be coming back. They will be treating it, overseeding it. John, as you said, in the fall, that's one of the ideal times to grow grass.
Mm-hmm.
When the weeds die off, there's still a germination period for grass. It is, unfortunately, there's a concentration of weeds. At this point, other than mowing it and keeping it somewhat presentable, we can't do anything about it right now. Because
But they are
middle of
coming back.
July.
This is the first I'm hearing of that. They are coming back and going to redo everything?
I said this at the last BBC meeting. I said, come the fall, they're going to do an additional treatment. We're going to stay on top of it, overseed, do what we have to do, winter fertilize, so that come springtime, if need be, we'll overseed again and do starter fertilizer. It's not sod. It's not instant gratification. It's planting grass. So
Understood. I just
whatever
sent you
needs
an email and you didn't.
Gary,
You
let
haven't
me finish.
done it,
Gary,
so-
let me finish.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yes, we are going to honor our contractual obligation, make sure that the town is left with the product that they bought.
Great. I sent an email and you hadn't responded, so I didn't know this. So that's great. I'm thrilled.
I
Thank
thought me stating this at the last PBC meeting was adequate for you to understand what our intentions are. And I know I said this about the time of year that we're dealing with right now. It's the middle of summer. It's not the ideal time to be growing grass So we have to mitigate what we're dealing with right now. There is undergrowth of grass. When the weeds die off in the fall, you're going to see germinated grass. We're going to thicken it and help supplement its growth. And by next spring, you should have the lawn that you guys ultimately purchased.
The only thing I'm saying, John, is that there was a specified way of doing this in the specs. And all I did was read through it, and that is not how your guy did it. So that's all I'm presenting, is that it didn't follow the specifications. If you're saying what they did will grow back and everything will be great, great. The town will have a beautiful lawn. By the way, I don't know if all you folks know, but I've got 2 weeks left and I'm off the site. July 30th is my last day. So I'll turn everything over to Bob prior to my leaving, all the files and stuff, so you guys will have everything.
Not who.
You. If you want, if you don't.
Now the buildings committee can get involved.
Say that? What'd you say, Bob?
Let it go.
If you want, if you don't want it, I'll give it to John. I don't care.
Okay, is there anything else for Gary?
No, I'm all done.
Nope.
Okay, project expenditures, you'll see on the sheet, they reduced the contingency to 75,678, 53, I guess, small print here, so it hasn't changed very much. As far as I'm concerned, it's not the right figure, but it's way out of my hands. This is done by the finance department. Any questions on that? Okay, moving on.
I do have a question on it, in that I thought at the last meeting I heard there was some $19,000 in change order pending that hadn't been accounted for last month. I didn't see any change in the contract sum this month, John. Are there still change orders pending?
It was approved by us to send to be signed. That was done last month.
There is asking because the total contract amount.
Are we talking about Tony, are you referring to credit change orders?
Yes. I think that's.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Tony, are you referring to credit change orders?
My notes from last month.
The credit change order, sorry, I'm moving my computer close to my face because I don't know how good my mic is. We still have not yet received any change order documentation to input that into our schedule of values. So those were PCOs drafted by me, two credit back to the owner change orders, one of which was for the roller shades, the other which was for the elimination of the wall phones, which I think is making up the cumulative $19,000 credit.
Yes.
However, it won't be reflected in our schedule of values until we have the finalized documentation for the change orders, of which I have not yet received.
And that's from S&P, right?
Correct. So I would assume by next month this will be reconciled.
Thank you.
Okay. C, Silver Petroselli Associates project update. I have nothing. John, you have anything? John K.
No, I mean, we are down majority. I'm sorry. Can you all hear me clearly? I feel like my microphone's not.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, we've been going through the combined punch list that was created by both Silver Petroselli and Gary. We've had subcontractors through the building addressing the items. We have yet to receive the punch list for Part C and the outside of the building. However, we still have subcontractors addressing the punch list that exists to date. And Gary, we sent you an updated copy of it a few days ago. Obviously, since then, there have been a number of things that have been addressed. So, you know, as punch lists typically go, it's an evolving process. So we're working through that to push this thing to the finish line.
I did speak to Kyle today, John, just so you know. I checked the first page. There were 3 items marked as done that weren't done. So I'm not sure who's doing the confirmation of completed items. But again, 3 items that were, I mean, minor stuff, but tape not removed from one of the sprinkler heads, hot water working in the ladies' room that wasn't working, things like that. But I've let Kyle know everything that I found, and I told him I will continue to go back on everything that's signed off and give him a response on anything I find that isn't correct.
Yeah, and again, that's part of the process. If something, you know, gets designated as completed that's not completed, obviously, if you see it, you know, make a notation of it and say you noted it as completed, not completed.
Any further comments?
Nope.
Okay, item D, discussion and possible vote on Innovative Engineering Services LLC, invoice number 14939 dated June 12th, 2020, in the amount of $350. And it's listed as construction phase commissioning, report and punch list. Total $350.
So this looks like it complete. So this looks like it completes their original billing.
That's what it appears. And
Okay.
the project went long, so the next bill we'll consider would be an extension of their work.
Right. That's what it looks. That's what it looks like.
Contract is going to $19,500. Because there's a $5,000 one for completion report and punch list. It says 100% complete. $5,000. Prior billing $4,650, and this, yes, that looks like that completes the
original contract.
yes.
And Gary, has a report hasn't been issued yet, right? Because the commissioning is still ongoing?
Well, yeah, part of the reasoning is we've been having a problem with the heating ventilation system. We seem to have gotten that under control in the last couple of days. We had a good meeting this morning to discuss it, but he doesn't want to give us a report until we have everything done. Silver Pet still has to get stuff off to Air Temp as far as, Air Temp was sending something to Silver Pet to confirm what they did, to make sure that what they're doing meets the specifications of the HVAC system. So that's still
that's not correct. I'm sorry, that's not correct. What happened was the HVAC system was installed according to spec. However, there was no humidity control. So we have humidity monitoring, but not humidity control. And the way that the system was designed allowed for a minimum 20% outside air intake to the building. That was producing a humidity issue. So what happened was, per multiple Zoom meetings, we had discussed different changes to the specifications that could be made to make the building more tolerable. So at that point, the building was achieving the proper temperature setting, not the proper humidity setting. So through multiple meetings, we've decided to make some changes to the specifications. And at this point now, based on what Air Temp believed was the best measures to reduce the humidity, those changes have been put in front of Silver Petrocelli for their analysis to determine whether this is acceptable. So it's not to make sure that everything was done according to the specs. It's making sure that what changes from the specs are acceptable by the engineers.
All right, I'll buy that.
Because what was originally designed was producing too high levels of humidity in the building.
There is a question too on how they did it. There's, from what IES is saying and from what Silver Pet is saying, there are two methods of doing it. And I guess they want to confirm that the method that was chosen by AirTemp was the best method. And that's what they're reviewing with the engineers.
Right. So to elaborate on that a little bit further, it's whether we're going to do reheating of the air at the unit itself, at the RTUs and the air handler, or whether we're going to do the reheats at the VAV boxes. Both of which methods are acceptable according to our conversation today. It's just a matter of what's the best long-term method and what's possibly the most energy efficient method. So there's the two variables to consider, and Silver Petrocelli is weighing both of those options to determine how are we going to finalize this system.
So at this
So
point,
the
we're just,
concept that AirTemp came up with was acceptable. It's just, are we going to reheat it at the unit or are we going to reheat it at the VAVs?
There's a concern about doing it at the VAV where as it turns on, the heat will blow out. And if you're sitting anywhere near the register, you're going to feel hot air of 90 degrees before you feel cooling, which they seem like they might be a little concerned about that. But they're going to assess it and come up with the best possible option from what I'm hearing.
But that also depends on the sequencing of the air handlers in the building. So the RTUs, they have the cooling coil before the heating coil. So on the RTUs, you can do it. On the air handler in the basement, the sequencing is reversed. So you can't reheat in the air handler in the basement. So you're now weighing the decision of, do we do it on a couple of systems and leave the other ones a different way? Or do we have a uniform reheating protocol throughout the building? My first assumption is let's have a uniform protocol throughout the building, unless there is a massive energy savings difference. And that's probably the sort of thing that Silver Petrocelli is weighing with their engineers at this point.
So the current agenda item, the current agenda item is this invoice for $350, which I'd be comfortable putting forth a motion as long as we don't make final payment without understanding when the delivery of a final report will be.
Okay, hold on a minute, Anthony. I have an item dated July 13th from IES, put on my desk tonight to add to the meeting, but we can't because it's a special meeting. You can't add it. And what it says, extra commissioning, additional commissioning services for supporting the extended project schedule of the town hall conversion project. And that is the amount of $1,170. And since that's a town contract, it's nothing to do with Burlington. Town's going to have to approve this to extend the commissioning above the contract. And the contract is complete. If you saw that, if you looked at the invoice today, it's 100% complete. So this is going to be extra. But as I said, this is a town contract, nothing to do with so just to let you know, that'll be on the next meeting if the council approves it. Well, they're going to have to approve it. I shouldn't say it. Anthony, does that answer your concerns?
Yeah, I have that. I just want to make sure if we're approving final payment on the original contract and it's understood, we'll see the report before we make final payment on the extended contract. That's all.
Okay.
That makes sense to me. I'm not worried about it at all. I just want to make sure we're clear.
Yeah, and this additional 170, from what I'm reading here, completes it.
Because the next invoice we're going to review here is $4,800. to extend their services. I'm looking at them together here.
Let me take a quick look here. You're looking at that second invoice, correct?
Yep.
Additional commissioning services for supporting the extended project schedule. Contract maximum $4,800. Previous billing against the maximum was 0. And this second invoice is for $3,170. Balance after that is $1,630. All right, let's put the two of these on hold. I'll do some checking and we'll come up with the next meeting. Is that it? Good, everybody?
That's
Yeah,
fine,
that
Bob.
sounds good.
Yep.
I will get with Sue. I could be in the building tomorrow, but I'll be in person. And we'll discuss that along with this other invoice that never got added, it couldn't be added. So with that said, I will take item D and E and take a motion, we put that on hold to the next meeting for clarification.
I'll make that motion.
I'm Modis, is there a second?
Second, Walsh.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, I'll try to get an answer tomorrow or Thursday.
Thank you.
Item F, discussion of possible vote on Burlington Construction Company application and certification for payment, number 00024 dated 6/30/20, the amount of $71,688.98. There's, that's in your packet. It's not signed by Silver Petroselli, but it's my understanding they have looked at this and have approved it. Is that correct, John? John Kay?
That is correct.
John?
I can't
Yeah,
hear
I should have
him.
the certified copies back any day now. Yes. Sorry, yeah, I had an email from him agreeing to the pay app. And he said he will have the certified copies back to us in short order. So I'm assuming by the end of the week. So Bob, in the interim, I can forward you the email from John certifying that.
Okay, that would help. And I'll pass it up to the members of, John, send it up. That said, is there any further discussion in their application for payment?
No.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll make that motion that we make authorized payment on the Burlington Construction invoice application number 00024 dated 6/30. I'm sorry, period 6/30/2020 in the amount of $71,688.98.
I'll second
Okay.
Magus.
Second, by Modis. Is there any further discussion? All those, go ahead.
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, abstained? Last item, unless anybody has anything, is adjournment. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we adjourn. White Glass.
Magus second.
Is there a second by Marcus? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstained? Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right. Good night.
Okay, good night, all.
Take care.
The clarifications. Everybody have a good evening. Stay safe.
You as well.
Okay.
You too.